Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ok Xoomer. I'm your host, Licting, Xometry guy and former Jeopardy champion, and I'm here today with Joe Barnard. Now, Joe is the founder of BPS.Space, and it is a YouTube channel on which he chronicles his rocket projects. He does some pretty cool rocketry in his yard, and he's not an aerospace engineer by profession necessarily, but he has kind of become one through the depth into which he got into this hobby. So welcome, Joe. It's great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me on.
So let's start by going through the story of BPS.Space. Why did you start it and how did it come to be?
I got a degree in audio engineering from the Berklee College of Music in Boston, because when they ask you, what do you want to do when you grow up? This is like 2 years after you have to ask to go to the bathroom in high school. So like you're a teenager and you make a decision based on what you think. And so I knew that I didn't want to do music after getting this degree. I didn't entirely know what I wanted to do, but I was like filming wedding videos at the time. And then I saw Elon Musk's company SpaceX doing a bunch of tests down in Texas. I saw these videos of rockets that were very cool to me, and then realized I wanted to do that. I couldn't afford to go back to school and get a second degree because school is super expensive and time consuming. And so I started this project where I was like, I know how to learn things. I know how to teach myself stuff. I could probably teach myself how to build a rocket that would land itself. Like a model rocket, to be clear. We're not doing anything insane. But I figured I could do it with a model rocket. I had enough basic knowledge of like how to use an Arduino, one of these little, microcontrollers. I had some knowledge of how to use some mechatronics stuff, just from the robotics club I was in high school. And I got to work. And so that was in 2015. And I spent about 2 years not with things like really not working. I got a couple of rockets to fly well, but the project wasn't sustaining itself. And it was really, like any good hobby, it was pretty much a money pit. I was not it was not sustainable, basically. And so in 2017, I started selling kits to add some advanced control stuff to model rockets. So this is basically helping them stay stable off the launch pad without fins, and then helping them ascend slower so that it's more realistic. So I used that stuff that I had taught myself to try and build a business. And since then, to keep it really short, it has spiraled quite a bit. And so we're doing lots of projects that sort of center around more advanced model rocketry on this YouTube channel.
Yeah, so you went from not really knowing much about it to having 316,000 YouTube followers in pretty short order.
Yeah. A lot of the progress has really come in like the last 2 or 3 years. There were the first few years were like that. I was doing a lot of the important work to like build the foundation of the knowledge I needed, but it didn't start succeeding for a little while.
Do you have a favorite video on the channel?
I like the one that I recently did, where we built this really small flight computer, and then flew a 3-stage rocket with it. Every now and then I do these videos where I like compose a bunch of music and I try to build it like a movie. So it's very high production value. I also did a video on, if you're watching the video, you can see it behind me. It's a silo launched model rocket. So it pops out of a silo, it gets ejected with a pneumatic piston, and then lights the motor mid-air to like go on its way, like kind of like a missile. And I really like that video as well. So there are a couple of good ones on there.
What advice would you have for somebody like you who has an interest, but possibly no formal training in rocketry or aerospace engineering?
You can learn anything. You can learn anything. The only reason that people know things is because you can learn anything. That's very general advice, but it can be very frustrating to learn things if you don't have any foundation on the knowledge that you're looking for. So as a quick example, I didn't know about control systems when I got started, and like that there's this whole field called control theory about like stabilizing systems and analyzing the stability of a system, and all of this centers around keeping a rocket upright and on course. But there's this whole field that helps you learn about what you need to know. But if you don't even know what to Google, you spend a lot of time trying to like figure out the thing that you need to figure out, like figuring out the right questions to ask. And so just get real comfortable with Google, Stack Exchange. There are a couple of good YouTube tutorials, but all the real good stuff is in like the NASA NTRS servers. Those are really good. Lots of good papers there. I wish I had more concrete advice, but you can learn anything.
So what's next for BPS.Space? Do you have any cool projects in the works coming up?
Yeah. In the next 2 years, I want to do something called a space shot. So a space shot is the sort of challenge of sending a rocket above 100 kilometers. So it's just a pop up and down. You go up to above 100 kilometers above the Earth's surface and then back down. So you're not going to orbit, but you are going to space.
It's officially space when you clear.
Exactly.
What point?
Yeah. And actually, there's a bunch of debate on like whether 80 kilometers is space or 100 or 50 miles or but 100, like if you go above 100, you're definitely in space. So okay. I want to do that in the next few years. It is a big challenge because right now a lot of the rockets that I build are made out of cardboard. I'm not needing to do a lot of like FEA or like crazy mechanical analysis on my design. But if you're going to space, like you are going minimum Mach 4. And so the flight profile is a lot different than what I do now. So we have a couple of rockets that we're building in sort of pursuit in that goal. Basically, there's like a tech tree of technologies that I need to nail down before we can actually try the space shot. And so that's what's next. That's what's coming up in the next few years.
Awesome. Well, best of luck as you make your way up to space. And
thank you.
Viewers, definitely keep following Joe's channel to see progress on that. So you now are doing this totally full time. You're not doing wedding photography or audio engineering or anything like that. What are some of the things that keep you most busy now that it's gone from being just a hobby to being kind of a business as well?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of like a lot of my job is just, I do most of the things involved with BPS, right? So I answer emails. I don't answer them enough, but I answer emails. I produce the videos. I edit the videos. I like do the projects themselves or write the code. And so a lot of my job ends up just being like putting out the fire that is burning the brightest. Like there are tons of problems with the things that I build, and I'm trying to identify most days, like what are the things that are really preventing us from moving forward. So it's a little bit of chaos, honestly. I think anyone who's self-employed will be like, yeah, no, it's mostly chaos. But yeah, it's comfortable chaos, but it's chaos nonetheless.
What excites you most about where kind of commercial aerospace is heading in the future? And not just your projects, but kind of in general. You know, it's in the news every day now with every billionaire sending people up into space. What's most exciting to you about that?
The current mission, they're actually up there right now, Inspiration 4. So there's 4 civilian astronauts who are up in space in orbit. That is very exciting. I don't really know what the future of commercial space holds. You know, we have a long way to go until like anyone can realistically purchase a ticket for less than, you know, the cost of a bunch of houses. But I'm excited to see more people who are not classically trained astronauts go into space. We're getting things to be pretty safe. I mean, I say we, but like humanity is getting spacecraft to be a lot safer than they used to be. And so it allows people who are not, you know, the absolute, you know, 0.001% top of their field to go to space, which is awesome.
Do you think we'll see that in our lifetimes?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, a lot has changed in the last 10 years of aerospace. And if I were a betting man, I would say a lot will continue to change in the next 10 years. There's a lot of orbital launch companies. I think probably too many, like some of them aren't going to make it, but there's also a lot of cool tech that you can do in orbit or in space in general. Additive manufacturing is huge for anything in space. Pretty much, you can design much more efficiently. I don't have a whole lot of strong opinions. I just know that it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I was just looking at there's a company called Varda that is going to do some manufacturing in space, hopefully over the next couple of years. And I had a very interesting conversation with somebody on the show earlier who was looking at ways to send 3D printers to Mars and then use Martian rock and Martian dust as the material that the 3D printer would use to create structures and things that are needed up there. There's a lot of pretty cool stuff going on.
I'll add one more thing to what I'm excited about, which is anything having anything to do with the moon. There are a lot of businesses that are sort of focused on doing stuff on the moon right now. And I want to see that come to fruition. Like, we will have lots of things on the moon in the next 10 years. I don't know about people. I think that will take a little longer than we think it will. But yeah, anything lunar is awesome. And there's a ton of stuff. There's like, I don't remember the name of the company, but there's a company that wants to do additive manufacturing with lunar regolith. I think it's a great proving ground for doing stuff on Mars as well.
Awesome. Well, Joe, thank you so much for joining the show. Joe's channel is BPS.Space on YouTube. Go subscribe, go check it out. The videos are incredible. It's amazing what he is able to do just with his own brain and a desire to reach for the stars. So Joe, thanks a lot. And we're so glad that you were able to join us today.
Thanks a bunch, Aaron. Thanks for having me.
All right. And thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back in another couple of days with another episode of Ok Xoomer. Stay safe and stay healthy.